the basic stuff of homemaking in today's world, we think is rather radical.
It is, as an experience, it becomes radical and radicalizing when it's shared, which is what we discovered more and more. What we found a way. We found a house which we felt would be the right sort of place for the kind of mission of hospitality that we wanted, and we found somehow how to pay for it. But having done all that and moved in, and that was quite an undertaking in itself. There we were, 7 people in a home which we could manage, and then what do we do now? Before anybody else came because they needed to, we were there with a house, and we had to look after it, and doing it together, and then people coming and also doing it with us. The homeless families that came later, but in the early days, anybody, individuals, men, women, children who came, they all became part of making the home. Mm-hmm. And so we shared it out, and it's that sharing that really makes a difference. It's that radicalized us, because each person opened out a challenge or an opportunity. What they needed was something we needed to think about, what they were asking us for, right?
Yes. I think also was, if I said that we really, in probably the first 10 or 15 years, really anyone who thought of becoming a board member, we really felt very strongly that they needed to have the experience of being in the kitchen or taking care of children. They needed to be absolutely a part of that, so that they could really get into themselves what was at essential. And I think that what I want to say is, having then become executive director, everyone did homemaking. We did not have a hierarchy in which you had administrators upstairs who never cooked, who never gardened, we didn't have that. And that was so shocking to people. When people would see me in the grocery store doing the food shopping, what are you as executive director wasting your time doing the food shopping? And it shocked me, because one of the greatest gifts that I had in those years was knowing that I could go out, and I could go out with a list of what the homeless families and staff had said that they would like to have, and within our very tight budget of that, get it, shop it, put it in the car. Actually, at Shaw's in those days, they used to put it in the car for you. And then Mary Jo and Marjorie and I were talking the other day, and then go home, and when they were working a weekend together, I'd pull up and they would be out helping to unload the car.
The prophet is commenting, he's encouraging the people who have been oppressed, people who have been forced to build houses for other people to live in who didn't pay enough, who have been made to plant vineyards and gardens that they couldn't eat from. And here is Isaiah saying that is not what God wants, and we're not going to let it go on happening. So instead of that, I'll read you the whole sort of passage that goes around it. For now I create new heavens and a new earth, and the past will not be remembered. And so be glad and rejoice forever and ever for what I am creating, because I now create Jerusalem as joy and her people gladness. I shall rejoice over Jerusalem and exult in my people, and no more will be the sound of weeping or the sound of cries be heard in her. To die at the age of 100 will be dying young, and the babies will grow to their old age. They will build houses and inhabit them. They have the continuity, they have the security of a home. They will plant vineyards and eat their fruit. They will not build for others to live in, or plant so that others can eat. And of course that's not saying you can't grow things for other people. I mean, obviously we should. But it means there's you have a stake in it. It's a community-owned thing. This is God's people living in God's houses and growing God's vines. And we found that so, it would have really struck us that this is what we all have to do. It's the security that all these homeless families, they said this was what they wanted, safe homes. Not a home you can be turned out of at any minute if you get a gap in your wages, when that's what's happening now. So that's what we found in that, and we borrowed Mary Jo's Bible because, as you probably know, some of you know, we're not living at Wellspring now, and all the books that we had there, we had to give away or dispose of in some way. So we didn't have
a Bible, so we called Mary Jo on Sunday and said, "Do you have a Bible we can use? We have a passage we think we want to reflect on." So 100 calls to the BBC, all saying, "When are you going to start? When are you going to start covering climate change?" Because people, I don't know. Someone said to me recently, it's like we're fiddling while Rome is burning.
Ostriches.
Huh?
Ostriches.
Yeah, we just and we just keep going on and kind of nice things and da. I don't know. So that's the other part we think of this radical hospitality. I mean, right now, to save this wonderful earth, we all have to find some way, some way to participate in this, and so that's radical hospitality as we see it and as we lived it. Yes.
Yeah, and you forgot to say that the things that the guests gave us, the non-tangible things, because that radical hospitality has a good side too.
Oh, definitely. It was the greatest. I mean,
we had meetings with them.
The greatest gift of my life was having shared a house with 500 homeless families over the years.
Not all at once.
No, but I mean over 25. I mean, it was unbelievable, that gift. And to
they had lights in the halls, but there were no connections. There were switches with which had no
fixtures,
and it was a mess. So we politely said, "We're not going to rent this. We'll buy it." And we took a deep breath, and we had some money, because our board of directors had foreseen this. They knew we'd have to do something new. So at the end of that particular year, there was 10,000 in the bank, which wasn't sort of assigned. So that's got to be a down payment on this house. It was a wonderful story because it required a lot of work, but everything some of you here know more than I do about it, but it all came together. The house was completely renovated, and 5 of the families who were then at Wellspring House moved into what was then for them temporary housing, in the hope that they would find permanent housing within a reasonable time. So we got what you could call a taste for homemaking in another sense, and we went on to create a home for single people at Chestnut Street, men and women, and so on. So it was obvious to us that housing was something we had to do, and that was the immediate result of our experience of homemaking. So it began to expand like that, the way we were seeing things, creating next an education center, because to make a home you have to have money, you have to have a home to do it in, right? And so the other thing that people were asking for was, we need help getting jobs. What do we need to learn? What do we need to, how much education can we get? Or can we get education to enable us to earn money? So
and there was all kinds of people. And looking around that community, I have to tell you, and it was at times where you're ready to say, but I really believe that. I mean, what we were doing, we shared a home together so that we could share it with other people who needed a home for a while. And when they got their own home, and that was, I mean, it fed me, and also, all of you, so many of you were so involved in this, that was the other thing. And, Rosemary's daughter said something to us recently Sue, her oldest daughter, who's been over to visit, and when she was talking, we were talking about Wellspring, she said, in my visits, the thing that always got me was the joy that was in that house. And I also remember people, some of you will laugh about this, who would come into the house and say, there's such peace in this house. Well, now they had to come in, I'm not sure at what time. At times they did, and it was actually Anne Louise and Catherine from Ireland who came in and said, there's such peace in this house. There was, so the dynamics,
Well, she didn't say quiet.
no, she said peace.
So
She said peace.